I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my home. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know what my name is. I just wanna end up famous in
I'm
their
so serious,
home.
probably why they be so damn curious, they furious. Easy got these ladies on some silly shit. Now what the dilly is, I'm going all out. Hey, I'm the talk of the town, why y'all just saw a mouth. Here's a story about my quest to be rich. I'm like Beyonce and Kelly on some Destiny shit. Mr. 6 Mile, look me up, I'm somewhat a dream. Got my city like an addict, guess it's somewhat a fiend. For my team, anything less is uncivilized. Surprise, I'm seeing this world through clear eyes. And haters only made me more inspired to bless. On the clock right now, what the hell is the next? Like that feeling in your chest when you're ready to leave. Like that memory you had, you just couldn't believe. And we always got a little ammunition for y'all, cause we remember when they wouldn't even listen at all.
Listen here, I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my home. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know my name.
Wanna love something with me too. In 97 on Gunston and 6 Measy, the streets made a natural born hustler. Believe me, drop real with it. That was my first EP. Grind harder than granted, but made it look easy. Take it to the top, that was the plan. Now I'm known worldwide from Detroit to Japan.
And welcome everybody to another great episode of the Jackson Report. It's episode 32. Got a special guest, and today we're going to be talking about a little bit about the domestic violence that's probably been on an increase since the quarantine. And I want to speak with y'all about soulmates because I got an interesting point of view when it comes to that. But first and foremost, you know, I got to have a chat with my favorite brother from another. We always kicking it when he overseas, but this time he happened to be on American soil. He in the Chi, even though I did start off petty and tell him Chi-Town sucks, even though I love the Chi. What's up, BG? I got my bro Brad Gray on the show with me. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
All right, I was gonna hit you because y'all took Justin Fields in the draft, so y'all
I
trust in
mean,
Ohio State, man. Y'all just
duh,
don't get
even a
enough.
broken clock has the right time twice a day.
Hey,
So
you know what? Y'all might get it. Y'all might get it right, but
we haven't had a quarterback in my lifetime, bro. Well, at
hey,
least not
y'all
in,
ain't had a
at
quarterback
least.
since what? Jim McMahon?
Well, okay. Let me rephrase. We haven't had a quarterback since I was old enough to form permanent memories.
Yeah, see, yeah, y'all,
So,
y'all, y'all best quarterback was in the Peyton era. So is that?
yo, I'm telling them right now. I
Oh,
don't care
yeah,
how much draft capital it costs. If you don't get quarterback right, it doesn't matter. But if you
yeah,
get it right, it's worth its weight in gold.
yeah. I think Fields might pan out for y'all, but the reality of it all is, you put me up on it because there had been so much going on at the beginning of the year for me. I didn't even realize that we just concluded his first 100 days in office. So, like, from your standpoint, far as let me just we gonna start in one area.
Okay.
Far as the economy goes, do you think he's doing a good job? Basically, I guess grabbing the ball from the last administration and trying to run it to the finish line. You think he's doing a good job far as the economy goes with all of these? Like he did pass this new rescue bill and a potential fourth one everybody keep hoping is on the way.
Well, you got to keep in mind that this administration has the unfortunate benefit of being measured by his predecessor. So for him taking the ball, it's effectively he has to pick it up because the quarterback fumbled the handoff in the first place, and the
Yeah.
ball's deflated. So,
he got the odds are definitely against him picking up the ball.
I mean, he's it's things are trending in the right direction. There are still some holes, but that last COVID relief bill, while it was less than what was promised, it was probably more than we could have expected from this
I,
government.
I I mean, if you think about it, he just added on to what we were supposed to get. And I feel like the Republicans did that kind of to undermine them with the whole, okay, we're gonna give y'all 600, we're gonna raise it this amount, and that's it. Basically
Uh,
trying to do something, a last ditch effort before that man got out of office, and it still backfired. It didn't work in their favor. So Biden, I think, came in office and kind of just finished the job. Like, we told him 2,000, y'all gave him 600, so I'm gonna give him the other 1,400, and potentially
and
add
he
it
got away
extra
with
more.
that
Yeah,
because he promised 2,000 after that $600 had already gone out,
hey,
and people bought it.
they
But
bought it
that's
because
because
1,400 looked way better than six.
1,400 looks way better than nothing.
Exactly.
And when you keep a people, when you keep a people backed up against the wall, they have less opportunity to fight you on the margins. And there's an interest that the ruling class in America has in keeping Americans poor enough where they're willing to be exploited at some of these jobs. I know everybody's seen those memes going around with poorly typed signs on on the outside of businesses saying no one wants to come into work. No, nobody wants to work for you and your crap wages and then get COVID and die.
Yeah, I mean,
If you're not willing to sit in your own restaurant and flip burgers, why should you think anybody else should come out of their house and risk their health to barely be able to survive or not be able to survive?
now that brings up a good question, because if you look around, it's been talks and everybody kind of anticipating if he gonna do a fourth go round, and I'm starting to think like, we slowly but surely opening up. They basically, the numbers going down, and a lot of the spots that's considered the major areas of the country, the numbers are plateauing and kind of like going down. So you got a lot of states that's opening up to 100% now, like full capacity. So I'm thinking, and this is me, like, I honestly don't think there's gonna be no fourth go round, because I think at this point he gonna be like, you know what? Look, we done dumped out too much money, and basically we coercing y'all to stay in the house if we keep giving y'all all this free money. So it's basically jobs that's out there, but nobody wants to
See,
take the
the thing
jobs.
is, you can't coerce somebody to stay in the house with money.
Exactly,
If
but
you give them money, what you're doing is saying that you don't have to go out here and be exploited and risk yourself. And if they do not want to train Americans to expect anything from their government.
and
The
see,
individualism that is inherent
hmm
in the ideology of our political class is to keep the machine running at the expense of the actual people.
and
There's
we
a
know that.
reason that the Republican Party immediately wanted to open things back up when they looked at the first COVID numbers at the beginning. They saw where the deaths were coming from. It was coming from poorer and browner places. And immediately you heard the talking points pivot. It was, let's open things up. It's not that bad. Because if it's not a problem for their community, it's not a problem. And
S-
honestly, if it's a problem for humans, it's not a problem because they don't give a shit. They
See,
never have, they never will. It's part of the ideology.
well, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, at least this new administration is coming in, and I guess moving slightly different than the last administration. At least,
Oh, they're moving a lot different.
yeah.
And when we talk about the differences between the two parties, it's so easy for idiots on Twitter to say there's no difference between the two parties. But the Biden administration has put down executive orders to put us back in the Paris Climate Change Accord. They wiped out that stupid Muslim ban from the Trump administration. They reversed the trans military ban. They mandated masks on federal property. They paused student loan payments. There's a lot of things that this administration has done that we never could have gotten under the previous administration. And within 100 days, they fully vaccinated 100 million people for COVID. People may not like Joe Biden. Plenty of people don't like conservative Democrats as a whole and feel they hold us back. And in some ways, I could agree with that. But there's no denying that there has been a large shift in the policy that we're seeing from one administration to the other.
So you personally, what would you personally, far as like his grade for his first 100 days, what would you give him? Being that you're a teacher and all,
C plus,
a C
but
plus, you
C
still graded
plus.
him
But
average. You gave him
you also have to keep
accolades
in
and took
mind
it right back.
that I'm grading based on what I was expecting, and I take a lot of points off for lies.
Now where the
And
lies come
while
in?
I can't necessarily call it a lie yet, the approach that they had in that COVID bill to $15 minimum wage rubbed me and a whole lot of other voters wrong because they had the opportunity to push that $15 minimum wage through in that reconciliation bill.
Hmm.
And then they sat back and allowed the Senate parliamentarian to make that decision. You know what would have happened if the Republicans would have had a problem with the Senate parliamentarian and they would have held the Oval?
What's that?
They would have fired the Senate parliamentarian, put their own guy in there, and then pushed it through anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
I
but
mean,
you
and the
can't.
parliamentarian is not an elected official. They have no actual power. It's up to the vice president to decide whether to take the parliamentarian's recommendation or not. And if Joe Biden tells Kamala Harris, override the parliamentarian, Kamala Harris overrides the parliamentarian. That
See,
decision came from above, and we can't allow them to hide behind the parliamentarian. And in a lot of ways, I'm not even content to let them hide behind Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema.
and I
If
see.
the administration wanted to whip the votes for this, they could. Go to the backyards of these people and crack their spine if you need to get your issues taken care of.
So you feel like the $15 an hour should have been more of a priority that as
I feel
opposed
like if
to.
you have the opportunity to wield power, you do.
I mean,
And that's
and
one
I can
thing I've
kind of
always
agree
had a
with you
problem
on it.
with the Democratic Party for is when they're in a position of power, there's plenty of times that they don't wield it.
Yeah,
The
they just
one
kind of.
overarching thing you'll see is
It's
that they
almost like.
negotiate against themselves
Hmm.
and they're unwilling to use power a lot of times when they have it.
I mean, sometimes you do got to fight fire with fire because I did. We watched the Republicans like do a lot of underhanded stuff to swing the momentum into their direction. So it's kind of like if you in that position, like now, like Schumer, I feel like Schumer should be playing it like like the former Senate Majority Leader McConnell was playing it. Hey, we don't like you. We gonna fire you. We just gonna outvote y'all because we hold the House anyway. Like I'm
The
not gonna let.
Republicans would light their opponents on fire for tax cuts.
Hey,
The Democratic Party won't upset people to get working people aid.
not not
They
not.
need to have some guts.
Now, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about the way he chose his new cabinet? I think the diversity in his new cabinet, that's what's up to me. Like I've never seen a cabinet as diverse as the one Biden just put together.
I mean, I can take the diversity of the cabinet.
Hmm.
I would prefer some people who are
More educated.
more likely to agree with me politically, but that's not the administration that I thought we were going to get. So I'm not going to hold to some sort of fantasy world. We knew that we were getting a moderate Democrat. We were going to get virtually the same people in the establishment that we have often gotten. I'm just happy that Neera Tanden didn't get a seat. Now, how much of that was the anger of the populace and how much of that was just people in the halls of power hate her too? Kind of hard to tell, but um, the cabinet is kind of what it is. It's another group of rich people who are out of touch, but this rich group of out of touch people have they have activists in their ear
Yeah.
They have people who are more inclined to agree with the average American than we ever would have gotten out of any Republican administration. The big question is, who do you hold power to sway? The Biden administration is swayable. They've shown it over the first 100 plus days.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's not perfect, but we do what we can.
what would you grade Kamala far as how she's handled her first 100 days, being the first vice president that's been a woman?
I mean, it's a little harder to grade a vice president because outside of her duty to cast a deciding vote in the Senate, she hasn't been front and center in
Uh
the
huh.
way that I was thinking she was initially going to
I
be.
was just about to say that. I was like, everybody. I think everybody had this perception when she won or when they won and she was actually going to be his vice president. Everybody had this perception that, oh, Biden's so old, it's going to be Kamala that's running the country and it's going to be this and that. And I even admit in my mind, I had it more so looking like a Michelle Barack thing. Just how when Barack was president, Michelle's star shined just as bright as his, if not even brighter, because it was you the first lady was everywhere. So I figured like with this administration, it was gonna be Kamala who was everywhere and all of the speeches, and it would be her who would be like basically the forefront of this administration. But contrary to all of our beliefs, it's almost like she kind of taking the back seat and letting Biden do what he do, and she just kind of like graciously being the first woman vice president, pretty much.
I mean, he's been relatively gaff free. Like, we haven't heard a lot of misspeaking. We haven't heard him say or do anything too wild. I mean, he's doing all right. Of course, nobody has the same fastball in their late 70s that they had in their 60s or 50s.
Yeah, but
Like, we all decline.
yeah, I
But
mean, I expected this presidency to be a little bit more boring than the last one. I really
I mean,
did.
it couldn't possibly not have been.
We still need some fireworks off the guy. Like
Our
we
last presidency was like being in a different weird dystopic movie every week.
nah,
We would
we
jump back and forth between one crazy story. I could tell you almost any story about the Trump administration, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration.
it,
I could tell you something true. I could say, this guy decided he wanted to start a military branch in space. It sounds completely ridiculous. They pushed for federal funding and actually created it. We were living in an entirely different universe under the last presidency. It
well,
was nonsense about nonsense. This is more normal. Our government still isn't really functioning.
they
Things
really
don't
did
get
do that
done.
shit. It's called the
Yeah,
United
they didn't do
States
anything
Space
last
Force.
administration other than cut taxes on wealthy people.
Oh wow, they wanted it to be 10.3.
Yeah, it says funding for research and development in the Space Force will grow to 10.3 billion from 9.8 billion in fiscal year 2020.
Wow. So they
Can we
trying to
find
spend.
out how much it would cost to eliminate homelessness? Let's see.
Exactly. And
Because we're not focusing on anything that actually affects working people. It's just saber rattling and
It would cost about
jerking
20
off for right
billion.
wing
so
crazies.
it'll cost like 20 billion to eliminate homelessness.
It'll cost 20
It,
billion to eliminate
it says
homelessness.
an annual cost of about
An
20
annual
billion.
cost. We increase the military budget more than that every year.
Oh, by a lot, I'm sure.
I
And
mean,
it's crazy.
the problems, the problems, it's not that any of our problems are unsolvable. It's we lack the imagination or the will to solve them. So there's still plenty of politicians that need to be replaced. This is a long term project if we actually want to turn this country into the democracy it's capable of being. I know we're eventually going to run into our hard out, so I want to make sure I get this in there. Johann Galtung wrote a book.
Hmm.
What seems like got to be 20 plus years ago, called The End of the US Empire and Then What? And it put two different possibilities on the table.
Right.
America could go one of two directions. We could either fall towards reactionary fascism, or we could blossom into a social democracy. And it's up to the American people to make that selection.
Well, we're gonna
That
fall into
decision isn't purely
fascism.
made in the halls of power. That decision is going to be made by people.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that we're at the forefront of that effort.
Long as we don't fall into fascism.
I mean, we danced a pretty long salsa with it for 4 years.
Hey,
When
I
people
was
talk
about
about
to
the Trump
say,
administration's legacy, the Trump administration's legacy was the early stages of American fascism,
yeah.
ultranationalism, um, dabbling in every ism you possibly could, demonizing of the other. Uh,
See,
it was it was a classic case study on what fascism would look at like in America. It wouldn't look like jackboots. It would look like some of the things we've already had: swearing allegiances to the flag, um, veneration of the military. I mean, he he was who he was, and he'll try to run again in 2024.
I honestly now that I don't think would be a successful mission for him. But now, while I do got you on, I need to know something. Like,
I I'm scared, but go ahead.
why you scared of? What you scared of? You shouldn't be
I can
scared.
hear the tone in your voice.
Yeah,
I
you hear
hear
the
it.
tone. You hear the tone.
I
I
hear the
need to
tone.
see. I
I don't
need.
know where this is going, but I'm down. I'm
Oh,
all in,
oh
baby.
yeah, we finna go way left. But what happened? What big being over there, like in China, right?
Thailand normally.
Same difference. It's not the same. Oh shit,
That's
that was
not the
this.
same difference. I know. All right, keep going.
It's the same difference. It's all Asian. But look, nah, seriously, what is their airport protocol like? Leaving from there, coming back to America.
Leaving from there, coming back to well, the CDC is requiring everybody that flies to America from international to have a COVID test within 72 hours.
Uh huh.
So you got to deal with that. Um, Other than that, airports outside of America are a lot less cumbersome and intrusive than ones in America.
Ah.
I mean, you do still have to go through the metal detector and have the little slide thing, but it's not nearly the event that it is in America.
Yeah, I'm like the COVID protocol, like coming, especially coming from over there. Like, what's like the protocol? They like checking
People in
temps,
Asia wear masks.
huh?
It's not a big fight to get people to do what's best for public health. They learned from the SARS epidemic. I mean, masks have always worked. Everybody who acted like they didn't was either uninformed, stupid, or intentionally trying to shift the narrative.
Really?
I mean, look at the countries that had large mask wearing and look at the countries that didn't. Look at the leaders of those countries. The three countries that have been the biggest crap show during this pandemic, when it all started, had three of the worst leaders. India had Modi, Brazil had Bolsonaro, and we had Trump. We got rid of ours, things have started trending in the direction. India still has theirs, and people are being carried out by the thousands because the leader doesn't give a damn. The fish rots from the head. Public policy matters. Don't be idiots and wear a mask.
That's it. I mean,
This thing isn't over yet.
our government, our governor said, "Look, we had 100%. We got to get back to the Texas way," and it's been people out in droves every weekend. But our numbers are trending down, which is amazing to me.
It does seem like there is some factor that also includes the weather. And outside of the urban centers, Texas has a lot of wide open space. There's a lot of people that aren't living next to each other in the same amount of population density as you would have in, say, the Northeast or, say, in LA or in Chicago. Be
See,
very careful
it's
of
actually it's crazy.
Republican
Our numbers.
initiatives that say things are so much worse in blue states and it has something to do with masks. No, there's a much higher population density in blue states than there tends to be in red states.
See, look at that. Our numbers are amazingly trending downward.
You know,
But I think, I
little
think
miracles,
that's,
I guess.
I think that's because a lot of more people was getting vaccinated now.
That's a big part of it. I mean, at this point, over
Oh wait, the numbers
40%
trending
of
up,
US
Chuck.
adults have been vaccinated.
That's for cumulative cases. So you can actually see. Remember when it started and they were saying flatten the curve?
Yeah,
You can actually kind of see the curve starting to flatten.
yeah, we flattened the curve.
Yeah, I just hope we can keep that
So
flattened
we're
because I
in
don't want to
we're
lose
in the
anybody
healing
else in this thing.
process, Brad. We are healing here in Texas. Y'all got the cooties up there in Chicago. They got lice over there in China. It was the Chinese flu. You knew it was the flu. It was-
My response to that is, are you ready to go out in public with all those people maskless?
Hell no.
There you go. That
But
tells you everything you need to
look,
know.
listen, every weekend I get it's always that one to get in. You mind the mask? I sure do. I
I'd be like, oh,
surely
hell
do.
no.
Oh
Get
yeah,
your
I
tubercular
mind
ass out of here.
I mind the damn mask. I surely do mind the mask. Now, my thing is my thing is how long you done been in the shower? You got in the shower what, yesterday?
I haven't even been here a week.
Yeah, you been there like at least 48 hours.
Yeah, a little bit over.
Now do the streets.
Closer to 4 or 5 days.
You ain't, but oh, really? So you did you come there? Did you go there at any time during quarantine, during the whole pandemic? Or is this your first?
I haven't been to this country since I initially left, and I'm dealing with reverse culture shock.
I was
I'll give
about
you
to
a
ask,
one little
that's what I was
anecdote.
gonna ask.
One little anecdote. There's one thing in Asia that needs to be here, and I'm just not even going to have that debate. In Asia, basically every toilet has a bidet attached to it.
So you want a bidet.
I mean, all I'm saying is I got there and I reached down for the bidet thing and didn't see it, and I thought, "Ah, savages."
Oh, so you done got bougie, huh?
Hey, all I'm saying is it's more hygienic.
We're missing out. I know what you mean.
Americans were literally fighting washing their hands during a pandemic.
I don't know how we feel about water sploosing up on our caboose. Like unless we in
I
the
know how y'all
shower.
feel about dirty draws. Positive.
Hey.
Yeah, things are commonplace in the rest of the world
So wait,
that
Chuck,
people are
you
uncomfortable with in
used to a
America.
bidet,
America
Chuck?
just doesn't examine the outside world and think there's a possibility anything could be better than what we
Oh,
do here.
hold up, Brad. Chuck familiar with
No,
bidets.
no, I've never used a bidet, but I know what you mean. That I want one, and I'm sure they're better if I had one.
And they're cheap now, and there's companies that make them here for like less than $100. You can attach it
Look,
without even
How does
needing
it
to alter
dry?
plumbing or
Do you
anything.
get like? Is it like one of those hand dryers?
it's it.
Uh,
Yeah, how do you dry that? Yeah, that's what I'm
I
talking
mean, how do
about.
you dry it? You dry it with toilet paper, except you use way less. Use
Okay.
way less toilet paper.
Okay.
This is such a random conversation. I love it.
Why are we talking about splashing water on your ass? Look,
Hey,
listen,
Americans,
listen.
it's okay. It's okay to clean. It's
Hold
okay to
up,
clean
listen,
things. Okay.
listen, listen. So you do all that splashing on this bidet, and then you wipe with toilet paper. That don't sound hygienically correct to me. Cause listen,
Okay. Go
Linda.
ahead.
What if you don't wipe too good with that toilet paper? Now you got smeary. You got
What if you don't
no.
wipe too good for it and there's no water?
So you got Nutella draws now. Like I mean, like what the
How about this? I'll ask you a simple question, and you tell me and give me an honest answer. I'm asking both of y'all, okay?
All right.
If you had shit on your hands right now,
Uh-huh.
would you wash it off your hands or would you wipe it off?
I'm washing it off.
Wash it off.
Then what the hell are we talking about?
Oh, I'm not arguing with you. I 100% think that a bidet is more
Like,
effective, but I've
Listen,
never
all
tried
I'm
one.
saying is
it's more
this.
hygienic, y'all.
Okay,
Like,
it
come on,
might be, but what
Americans,
if
get it together.
man, you have one of them what if you had one of them messy episodes? When you go I mean one of them, oh my God. Ooh. It's only so long you can use that bidet before somebody on the door like, hey, did you fall in there? Like,
All I'm saying is when this interview gets clipped, I'm editing all of this out.
no, you not. No, you can't edit this out. This is good stuff.
They're gonna have
Like,
to go into the Jackson Report archives to find this part of the
this is
conversation.
this is good stuff. This is all I want is all I'm saying is even on movies it look awkward as hell. Like, so you cock your behind over and you let water shoot all up. Ain't it
No, it's not even
splashing
like
and
that.
smearing shit?
It's almost like a little hose that's attached to all of them. You just grab and you just boop,
Oh,
boop, boop.
hell no. So you grab and violate yourself. You just hosing your
You're focusing on the wrong things, man. Y'all focusing
no,
on the wrong
man.
things,
Look,
man.
y'all, listen, dude. Before I let you get out of here, man, you done sent me for a whirl with this bidet. I ain't. I mean, I done heard of them, but I never thought about it in depth like that. Like, you use the bathroom, you already listen. When it's that one, you already be feeling a little bit vulnerable and awkward. Like, it just be one of those personal moments. Now you got water splashing all up on your ass. That seemed like it just make you feel even more awkward. Like, just
I mean, I'm not sure how awkward as a grown ass man you're supposed to feel doing a basic process like vacating your bowels.
I mean, you vacating your balls, but then you grabbing this hose, and now
Dog,
and now you hosing down your cakes. That
it's
don't.
simple. It becomes like second nature. Like the first time I got to America, got to toilet, I was like, "What the hell is going on around here?"
Oh you got to America and was like, I can't hose my ass down. This ain't.
Hey, but let me
I
ask
was like,
something,
"Yo,
Brad.
y'all use so much." That's why folks needed so much toilet paper at the start of the pandemic. That's why people had two people households and was getting 50 rolls of toilet paper
Brad, let me ask something.
in Costco.
In Thailand, are there certain public restrooms that you have to pay to use?
Nah, not really. Or at
Okay.
least I haven't experienced that.
Not
Okay.
is
Because
that
those are in Germany.
really?
Yeah.
Now I need to know something. Is every bar set up like that? Come with the come with the shot and the shot at every bar in
I
Thailand.
mean, the okay. So first of
I'm
all,
talking about the
we're not
$20
having that
special shot,
conversation here.
huh?
First of all, we're not having that
Oh
conversation
yes, we
on
is. This is
live.
all in today.
All right, I'm out of here.
We
You
all
all
in.
have a good
No,
show.
you can't leave. Listen,
No, I'm
listen.
not even acknowledging that conversation
So it's
is ever going to
Coronas and
end.
Dome. I mean,
No. No. Bye.
uh,
You all have a good show, man. Y'all got more stuff to talk about. Unless you want to bring me in on the rest of the conversation, it's
we. T-
over.
I need to talk about these places because I'm planning my trips.
Everything does not have to be in the red light district. There are cultural things to see with.
I want to see cultural things. I want to see the cultural
You don't
bar.
even want to see the temples. You want to see somebody flap their wings. That's what
I
you
want,
want.
I want to see the temples. All right, I do. I just need to
That's
know about this bar.
not the type of temples we talking about, sir.
I just, hey, I want to see this bar.
Hey, no. You're ridiculous.
I'm
I
trying
was
to
about
see
to
this
say, how
bar so I
about,
can finally
first of
live
all,
the
I have
Toby
no
Keith
idea what he's
song.
talking about.
I
And
want to
he
see.
and
Listen,
the truth ain't in him.
I want to see this bar so I can finally live in reality the Toby Keith song.
I just the fact that it's a Toby Keith song already worries me. But
No, Toby Keith song. I love this bar. I need to live the song in real life. So you got to take me to this bar. Like that got to be
I've
like
got
the
to. First of all, you got about 20 more seconds of this conversation before I hit this exit button, sir.
that got to be listen. That got to be the first stop on the Neezy tour when I come to Thailand. Like
15,
upon touching down off the plane, like skit skit, we straight to this
10,
bar. We listen, BG.
5.
Damn it. Okay, well, fine. Listen, it's been great having my bro on the show. He won't talk about this bar.
I have no idea what's wrong with you.
I have no idea what's
First
right
of all,
with
if
you
you
at
ever
this
bring
moment.
this up on stream again, I'll never come back on the show.
Oh, you
But
have
that
to
doesn't
come
mean
back.
I don't love you.
You have to come back on this show.
No, I have an image to protect, and you over here slandering my good name.
I'm
What is
posting
wrong
it on
with
your
you, sir?
wall. It's like, no, I'm just messing. I'm messing. I'm messing. It.
I was about to say, sir, I'm a respectable gentleman of the community. What is wrong with you?
I understand that your kids ain't watching this.
Do you? Do you though?
Yes, I do. I really do understand because I'm a respectable gentleman in the community.
No, you don't. If you understood, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
We are not having. It's a
Hey,
bar.
finish.
We just talking about a bar where we have some good drinks. That's all.
No. All right, man. Y'all be blessed. Hold it down out there, all right?
You know it. It's been
As a
real.
matter of fact, check us out on Twitch at Revolutionary Underground. He'll put all my info in the description.
You already know it.
All right, see
All
you,
right,
Brad.
brother.
For sure.
Hold it down, y'all.
Peace. And as usual, that was BG. Chuck, who is that?
Plasma Dimensions Individuality DEA.
Oh, okay. What they talking about?
Just talking about the whole. They're just chiming in on the whole bidet conversation.
Yeah, because a bidet, like who really? See, here's my thing in America. Like, why certain customs ain't going, like certain. Okay.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's that. I got a bat phone. That's the bat phone ringing. Hold on, y'all.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
bat phone.
Got 2 phones up in here. What a beast.
Yeah.
Oh, he's actually taking the call.
I have to do it. You see that?
It's for work.
Yeah. We live on air. This is what we do, Chuck.
Yo, so do you recognize Plasma Dimensions? You recognize this guy?
Uh-uh.
Oh shit.
Grand Rising family, Grand Rising.
That's not even my concern. What about a parking spot? And it interrupted my whole show about a parking spot.
Come
So,
on.
you know what? So that brings me to a point here lately, and it's just me being curious because I seen a lot of stuff spark over this quarantine period, like a lot of newfound relationships, and I'm no relationship guru. Trust and believe me, I'm not no relationship guru. I just was fucking up royally 2 days ago at IKEA, Chuck. Like I was fucking up royally, like literally at IKEA, Chuck. Lord have mercy, I was in trouble at IKEA. The same thing the same thing that powers my show was the thing that almost got my black ass in trouble at IKEA 2 days ago. But it still wouldn't have led to what I want to speak about. It wasn't no licks passed. It wasn't no verbal abuse. It was just a look. That was all. She gave me a look, Chuck. She never said nothing. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't do nothing. But the look and the silence let me know that I was like on some Bon Jovi stuff. I was like,
Some thin ice.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
living on a prayer. Like Sunday, I was living on a prayer because I could have got goddamn trouble. But this pandemic, I guess people was feeling vulnerable. Didn't nobody want to spend time by themselves. They didn't want to get to know each other. They didn't want to get to know themselves, I should say. So a lot of people was in these newfound relationships that only lasted because quarantine. Now that the world opening back up, the weather breaking, people starting to get back outside. Rainy Street starting to look like Rainy Street again. 6th Street back looking like 6th Street. You got people ready to get out of these relationships. And some, even worse, is leading to abusive situations. Because I was reading earlier, domestic violence done increased
Mm-hmm.
over the pandemic.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, and then just like they passed the law where you could carry a gun and smoke weed and women could be topless in Oklahoma. Oklahoma happens to be the number one domestic violence state too. So
Wow. 49%.
it's Oklahoma
Yeah.
domestic violence. So that means damn near half the state whooping somebody's ass. It say every 1 in 4. It say 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men are victims of abuse.
That's abuse of any kind, right?
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
it could be verbal. I mean, you know, you dumb, stupid, you done it. And a lot of people tend to think, I guess a lot of people tend to think that as a man, if words damage you, then you just emotional. You just, you not no real man. Oh, words shouldn't hurt you or bother you. But you never know what was happening to that man in his childhood. Because the people can say you shouldn't let your childhood affect you. And that's very well true. But in some instances where certain things trigger certain thoughts that take you back to a place that you knew you did a lot to overcome. So the whole words shouldn't hurt you thing, we need to do away with that whole statement.
You know what's interesting is North Dakota, the lowest on the whole list, is still 25%.
Damn, and that's low.
That's the lowest one.
So a quarter of the state is in behind closed doors arguing and slapping each other around,
Yeah.
and they consider that the lowest amount.
Yeah.
Damn, so that mean the numbers of domestic violence is high all over the United States. Then,
That, I feel like it can't add up because
right, it
it
don't.
says an estimated 10 million people experience domestic violence every year. So that's 1 out of 300 million,
Yeah,
or 10 out of 300 million. So that's about 3%.
yeah,
But if the lowest on this list is 25%,
that don't add up.
yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Maybe there's something I'm missing.
Yeah, cause that means a lot of people just was like, you know what, quarantine over. I have had enough. I done been around you all day, every day. You done got on my damn nerves. I can't take it no more. And then they start getting physical. Or verbally aggressive. Could be emotionally. I mean, a lot of people tend to play, you know what? Honestly, depending on the type of person you are, sometimes mental abuse hurt worse than a person physically abusing. Somebody playing with your mind, got you thinking one thing, or honestly being just like manipulative, using manipulative actions, playing off your guilt or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all kind of forms of abuse. Like, I was in an abusive relationship at one point in time. That's because I don't hit females. You know, I went with that female that she didn't know how to argue. It was just like, we finna be fighting. And when she said we about to be fighting, she might as well have to just said we fighting, because every time she said we about to be fighting, she was swinging as she said that. So it's
Wow.
like it wasn't about nothing. It was already taking place as she was saying it to me. So
Wow.
I done got cold cocked a couple times. Chuck took
Wow.
involuntary naps because I don't hit females. man.
Involuntary nap. She knocked you out.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. I can
Damn.
admit it.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I admit it. Yeah, she caught me. She caught me slipping. I looked this way, turned back around,
Yeah.
and saw the light in the streets.
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah, yeah. I got Chuck. It was way bad. It was like,
Yeah.
but it didn't get to the point where we had to call the police and no stuff like that. Like I had saw some numbers earlier. It said over 185 Texans died because of domestic violence since 2019. And that's crazy. Like that is to me, here's my thing. Fellas and ladies alike. If you feel the need, I should say it like this. If it gets to the point where you feel like you have to put hands to inflict bodily harm upon another person, leave. Walk away. What make people stay? This is what I don't understand. What make people stay in situations where they could verbally tell somebody else they're not happy or they verbally, oh, I'm just miserable, but yet they stay? It's not that much love in the world. I don't care what nobody says. If a person is physically abusing you, where's the love in that? Like I have always, people say, "Oh, love make you do some crazy things." Love not gonna make me want to just voluntarily go to the hospital. Like I can't see that. But I keep in mind and take into account that everybody's mentality is not like mine. Nobody thinks the way another person thinks, or else we wouldn't have individuality. But common sense is common sense. If I hit you today and tell you it's gonna be all right, and you take my word for it, and 4 days later I'm back to hitting you again, that means it ain't gonna be all right. That means I just told you something to pacify the situation right then and there, and now we right back on the same tip. So it's just amazing to me when I see stuff like that on how domestic violence grew. And then a lot of times you read it be repeat offenders. Like I'm not no psychiatrist, no doctor, no none of that. But it's just common sense that make me like, if a motherfucker hitting you and constantly yelling insults at you and all that, that's not love. That's not caring. That's not nothing. That's not, oh, he gonna get better or she gonna get better. That's a person that's showing you that your best interest don't mean shit to them. So you need to get the hell away from that person. And then I said I was gonna speak on soulmates. So I'm gonna speak on how I view that real quick before I get up out of here. Like far as like soulmates go, some people think your soulmate is just this person you gonna meet all of a sudden. Oh, I know. I just know off jump. If you believe in that, I don't knock you for it because I believe in love at first sight. I believe that could truly happen. But I also have this belief. Your soulmate to me, a soulmate is that person that's understanding enough, patient enough, and compassionate enough to accept everything about a person. Thus, that makes them become your better half because they know you in and out. It's not a person that can come right along and the first day they meet you be like, oh, your favorite color is this. Your favorite food is this.
Yeah.
I know you like this position. If a person could do that, that's somebody I want to know. Because when they come along and I meet them, what's the lottery numbers for tonight? How can we get $1 million by tomorrow morning? If you could predict everything, tell me something that's going to get me rich. See what I'm saying? So my thing is, I feel like when people say they met their soulmate, to me, it's that person that they meet that's just that much for them where they accept every and anything about them that makes them who they are. And they try to do their very best to add to that person and to add to their life. Not coming into it to where it's like, ah, I'm coming in with cups for hands. Oh, I see you got a lot going on. Let me see how what you got going on can benefit me in some kind of way. Nah, that's not a soulmate. That's an opportunist. But a person that's coming into your life and they look at you and they see the good in you or they see the person you are, and they first thought is, okay, well, what can I do to add to that? What can I do to further everything that he's seeing and that I'm seeing, and vice versa? That's when you found your soulmate to me. Honestly, a lot of people think, oh, my soulmate, because she bad to the mug. Oh, she got money. Oh, she smart. She this, she that. Nah, when you truly do find your soulmate, you don't care about how they look. You don't care about how much money they got. You don't care about the assets that they done acquired. You strictly care about them. Like I always joke and say, the woman that's gonna end up with me is the woman that's gonna love me just because I wake up in my name to it. That's when I know that I found the person for me. Just because I woke up and my name is what it is, that's when I'll know. Dang, I might have found my soulmate because you got to be an interesting person to mate with my soul. That's how it goes. You got to be a very unique person because, as I found out Sunday at IKEA when I almost lost my life, Chuck, I'm no day at the beach when it comes to dating. Like when it comes to dating, I always thought I was just like this good dude. But apparently I'm finding out that I got my moments. Oh, I got my moments. When somebody tell you they want to choke you just enough so you die just a little bit and come back just so you know that they ain't playing. Oh, it's something about you. Cause I got told that like a few times. Like, just want to choke me, just feel the wind slowly seeping out of me and then let me go just at the last second so I understand that she ain't playing. That's a person that either care about you a lot or you just that big of an asshole. You need to reevaluate some of your life choices. Like, like I keep getting told, I need to reevaluate some of my life choices, at least when it comes to that particular person. Because Lord knows I was dancing around Jesus' toes at IKEA Sunday. Yeah. Oh boy. And I thought I was just, being the typical me, talking shit, having a good day. Nah. I was apparently I was playing the hokey pokey. I was playing the hokey pokey with the Reaper. I didn't know. I didn't know, Chuck. I was playing frozen tag with the Reaper Sunday, but I've been trying to make up for it over the past couple days. But I had to speak. See, I had to speak on soulmates because I've been hearing a lot of people talk about, oh, I think I found this person. And it's like, okay, you found a person. What's their favorite movie? Oh, I don't know. What's their favorite food? Oh, I don't know. So how do you know you found their soulmate? Oh, she look good and she's strapped and all of that shit gonna change over the years. Like gravity takes hold. Now, what the comments say?
SBG said, you gonna reevaluate a few things in a minute.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to reevaluate. Yeah, cause dude, listen. After Sunday at IKEA, I reevaluated my whole life. I had to because you get to really thinking fast when a person just giving you a look. They not saying nothing. She didn't yell. She didn't say motherfucker for what. She didn't say none of that. She just had this stern look. And what even made it more scarier is I never seen nobody have a stern look, but yet smile with it. Like, you know somebody's serious when they looking at you with just a straight stare, and then they smile as if everything is all good. And when you ask, everything all right, what's wrong? Nothing. Oh, nothing. Nothing. Still smiling. You better not take your ass to sleep. I know that. You might want to start thinking of all of the good stuff. If you know her favorite dish, get it for her. You know her favorite candy, buy it for her. Like, if she got a favorite song, play it in the car. Cause listen. I'm not gonna go all off into it and what's going on. But I did. Like next week, I'm more than likely gonna talk about this new era of dating, like pandemic dating. Because we done talked about online dating, but pandemic dating, because now it's different. People got to date different. Like people is actually going on virtual video dates, like to where they just
That's insane.
sitting on other ends of the computer, like, yeah, take a bite off yours, I'm gonna bite off mine. See, we eating together. Like I don't, I
That's kind of weird.
I would rather just like 6 feet apart. Like
Yeah.
wear a mask if you that scared. Like, but still, like this week, my am I with it part of the show is this. Here's the am I with it part of the show because I've been back and forth with it and back and forth with it, and I've been seeing it. I've been seeing it like over the weekend because I seen at least three different. If I see three or something, it made me want to speak on it. But I saw three different people dealing with long distance relationships, and to me, it's like, what is considered a long distance relationship? Is it like so many miles apart, or is it different states? Because like if you stay in the same state, to me, I don't think that's long distance to me. Like because you're capable of getting to the person. Unless it's like Austin and El Paso. El
Yeah.
Paso is like what, 8 hours away
hours.
from here. Like
Yeah. Or get another call.
that's the person about the. That's probably the same person about the parking space at my job. It's not up to me to tell them about a parking space. Now, if they got a maintenance car, then that's one thing. But it's a parking space. I'm not the traffic enforcement unit at my job, so I that's not my jurisdiction. But as I was saying, nowadays, with how everything been going, long distance relationships. If you in the same state, to me, that's not long distance. That's just a matter of making an effort to be around that person. But now, if I'm in Texas and you in Alaska, that's considered long distance to me. But my thing is, people, you'll move mountains if you find something worth it. That's just my thing. If you find somebody worth your time, you'll move mountains for them. It wouldn't matter if that monk stayed halfway across the world. Y'all to figure it out. Cause you didn't heard that you didn't seen the shows 90 Day Fiance and all this stuff where they meet on an overseas trip and end up getting married. So anything is possible. But when I say long distance and I think about it, if it's within the same state and you consider that long distance, that's just saying you're not really interested in the person to me. Because even if they stayed, I'm here in Texas and it's like Arkansas, you make the effort. And the reason I'm speaking on it, because I saw a post and the way the people was talking, and it just happened to be a state I was somewhat familiar with. It was Georgia. And one person stayed in like, I think it might even been Stone Mountain. And the other one was like maybe in Decatur or some stuff like that. And they was kind of like, that's too far for me. And I'm thinking, it's been a while since I've been in Atlanta. But that don't seem that far apart. That'd be like, for instance, even I can use my situation. I'm here in Austin and my person is in, I ain't gonna say where she is, but she ain't in Austin. Like she ain't in Austin. So it takes some effort for us to be around and interact with each other. But the fact that I've seen her do it on a few occasions, no qualms about it. And I do it with no qualms about it. It's because it's an interest there. So am I with a long distance relationship or not? Whereas I'm with it, it's a lot of dudes that's like, oh hell no, I'm not. I'm over here, she doing this over there, and they can tell you anything. But then it just boils down to something else I'm gonna speak on further on down the line. A lot of us been bruised and damaged so much that we don't even trust nothing no more. And we stay stuck living in that same bold situation that we left years ago and not trusting nobody. So before I get out of here, I always give y'all a jewel. And this the jewel I'm going to leave y'all with. If you always live your life looking backwards, you can't see what's in front of you. And if y'all catch this metaphor, I love y'all to death. But a lot of people don't catch it. It's pure D damn evil when you live backwards. This has been another episode of the Jackson Report. Good night, people.
Life's a game, but I figured it out. Sitting on the steps at Granny House. This world is strange, but I picture my route. Sitting on the steps at Granny House. Life's a game, but I figured it out. Sitting on the steps at Granny House. This world is strange, but I picture my route. Sitting on the